Well, I'd like to officially open the mediaX 2015 conference. I'm Martha Russell, and it's great to see so many friends and members, partners here from all over the world. For those of you who are joining remotely or seeing this at a later time, it's Thursday, April 16th, 2015, and we're in the McKenzie room of the Wang building of Stanford University. We're going to be holding the program in several different areas of this fantastic building. And on page 5, you'll see a map that will show you the lower level where we'll have lunch and exhibits. The Hive, which is a fantastic visualization laboratory, is off of that level. We'll have a networking reception on the ground floor at 4:30. Before we come back to this room at 5:30 for our keynote. So we're in for a wonderful day. We are streaming and online, and shortly after today, the presentations will be available online. You may want to pass them on to your colleagues. I encourage you to use our hashtag mediaxstanford to socially share some of your experiences and thoughts today, or contribute to the discussions that are on Facebook or LinkedIn. We're here today to explore and to discover and to share. So through the day, you have a sense of the whirlwind that we are entering into, reflective of the cultural changes, technology changes, global changes. And I think through the day you'll have a sense of the fireworks, of the intellectual fireworks that we'll be sharing with you. We chose the code of writing, or the title of writing the code for personal relevance, because things are changing, and the ability to attract attention, to hold attention, to capture someone's cooperation and continued participation in activities is something that is at the heart of education, of commerce, and of entertainment. The digital devices and interactive experiences contain embedded code, and that code guides the operations and the interactions of the digital experiences. As the devices and the systems learn about their users and promote emotional bonds, such as the bond you have with your mobile device, with your car, that may be spreading to other interactions, devices, systems in the future. And across the spectrum of learning, of commerce, and of entertainment, all of which are application areas for mediaX research and programs that are at the intersection of human sciences and information technology, we find that the context drives the meaning of those experiences, and that people's intention drives the value that they receive from it, of those digital exchanges. Now, we've been focusing on science storytelling this year in some of our seminars, and there's a very special reason for that. We feel that our members and partners, as they take back experiences from Stanford, are sharing those science stories with the people in their labs, the people in their boardrooms, and we feel that's very important. We also know that whether it's researchers at Stanford or whether it's researchers in our member companies, that there are continually opportunities to tell about the science that's being done, to tell it in a way that is requesting funding, to talk about the science in the way that it's supporting evidence-based decision. And we know that storytelling puts that experience in context. Storytelling enables sharing. And as we are looking at human sciences, understanding people in order to make technology better, writing the code for smart personal experiences and intelligent personal narratives is the frontier. It's the frontier in commerce. It's the frontier in entertainment. And it's the frontier in education. In the past couple of years, several of the mediaX themes have addressed the future of content and publish on demand and personal relevance. One project in particular that was focused on education and making history relevant to students is maturing now. The students who are have been working on that project are presenting, writing papers, and increasingly talking with educators who may use some of their findings from that. And I'd like to introduce them to you with this video.
The interesting thing about the history textbook, particularly in the United States, is that it's almost like the one best and most notorious example of one-size-fits-all learning and one-size-fits-all history.
Rather than just reading a history book and accepting carte blanche, this is how history was, they are constructing their own accounts of history using primary source documents.
One of my personal concerns as a history teacher is with a greater and greater focus on standardized tests, there's less time in the classroom for these sort of in-depth ways to explore history and to develop historical empathy. We are helping high school students in social studies class to develop digital history textbooks.
The idea was to scaffold their telling of history in order to pull out the most salient features and engage in history the way that historians do.
For the most part, we know students don't love carrying around those textbooks, and we also know that they don't always open them, they don't always read them. And so this might potentially allow us a way to kind of tap into those students and to tap into their own interests.
What events to emphasize, what narrative to represent, how to combine multiple perspectives. This kind of approach to teaching history really represents the future. Within a few short years, we will see this kind of approach, I predict, being used all throughout the world.
We use a program called iBooks Author, and I built a number of different templates. A typical textbook, you think about a block of text on a page and maybe a sidebar that says, here's what the non-dominant population thought at the time. We had 5 different templates that we offered them, as well as encouragement to go ahead and go off template, make their own.
In our pilot study thus far, we had 2 to 3 students be assigned a particular chapter, and then at the end, we put all the chapters together. The completed book covers all the material for their year.
It's pretty much like the difference between going to a football match, where you are either in the stands watching the game, or you are down in the field actually experiencing the action. The effects of the digitization of historical evidence just creates limitless possibilities.
They're really excited about the idea of being both creative and intellectual and combining this all up into one venue where then they could take and they could say, look what I made. I can teach someone else with something that I made. Where writing an essay, your teacher grades it, you get the grade back, you've maybe learned something, but you don't have this sense of agency, the sense of pride, and the sense of ownership.
The internet is a free-for-all with all kinds of contending voices. Preparing students by giving them a closed textbook is like preparing swimmers to navigate a raging sea, but never letting them out of the wading pool. If we don't teach students how to discern those voices, then the very future of our country is in peril.
Our research has the potential for revolutionizing the way that history is taught in the classroom, the way that students can become agents in creating their own history.
This kind of research really embodies the spirit of mediaX, which is to take risks, to go into areas that are uncharted, and to really provoke a whole series of new questions that we have to consider.
If you resource the space and give them the tools, the sky is definitely the limit.
The sky is the limit, and through the day we're going to touch on education, on psychology, on psychiatry, on music, on mechanical engineering, computer science. We're touching that several times because that's in the theme, writing the code. We we'll take a tour through a number of the intellectual activities that are in concept, as well as that have taken place at Stanford through mediaX.